Thank you very, very much for joining us right here on the India Development Debate Direct. We have none other than the Minister of State for Civil Aviation, Jayant Sinha, joining us. A man who markets implicitly trust, a man who corporate India likes to hear, and a man who's, of course, got a pulse on the politics of this country. Thank you very much for being with us, Mr. Sinha. This is a mandate against the Congress. But I'm just trying to understand from you, whose victory is this? The BJP indeed is the single largest party, but you're well short of the halfway mark, 113. And I know, political war is on to somehow get to power from both the Congress and the BJP in the state of Karnataka. But the reality is that the finance minister and other ministers in 2017 said that the governor should be inviting and is well within his constitutional rights to invite the largest post-poll alliance to form the government. Are you now going to go back and say the single largest party should be invited? Isn't that being politically convenient?
Supriya, we should leave it to the Honorable Governor to ascertain the facts to see exactly what the right way to form a government would be. And it is really in his hands, and I'm sure he'll be advised by all the right constitutional authorities to undertake the right course of action. But we should let democratic processes play themselves out and let us see, the shape of the government that gets formed.
Okay, so let's talk the language that you and the markets understand. And I think investors are a little wary of a third front or an anti-Modi bloc getting into shape. And it's quite certain from this verdict that we will see a lot of the anti-BJP, anti-Modi forces come together in around 2019. Given the fact that investors are fretting over the possibility of this, how would you assuage what perhaps are legitimate concerns?
There are three clear takeaways from the results that we've seen in Karnataka, Supriya. The first takeaway is that the Congress, I think, is becoming very, very weak and a very unimportant player now in Indian politics. They are clearly, losing their position in state after state. They don't have anything to offer to the people, and as a result of that, it's very clear that people are casting them aside and moving, of course, in this and in almost all other cases to the BJP. So I think the reduction in the Congress's political position is happening apace, and it's going to become even more evident as we go into the Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh elections, and then of course to 2019. So there is definitely that ebbing of the Congress's political situation. Number two, I think it's very clear that the people of India have voted again and again and again for the performance politics and for the clean, corruption-free government that the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Party President and our government in total can deliver. And I think people are embracing that and delivering a verdict very much in our favor. The number three important point is that I think the contours of 2019 are becoming very clear. On the one hand, you're going to have a government that is being led by the Honorable Prime Minister, that is delivering performance on the ground, that is very, very strong when it comes to fighting elections. And then on the other hand, you're going to have a khichdi, a group of opportunistic parties that, because they see their political position eroding so fast, diminishing so fast, will do anything that it takes to be able to survive and to protect themselves. That's what 2019 is going to look like, and I, for one, welcome that, because I think it's going to present the people of India with a very clear choice. On the one hand, the BJP led in a very inspiring and in a very decisive way by the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Party President, and then on the other hand, with this group of players desperately trying to protect themselves and to ensure their survival. That really is what 2019 is going to look like. That's what we have to frame, and that's why I think we will be certainly able to win in 2019.
Mr. Sinha, I think the next obvious question is that what Swaminathan Iyer puts it, that voters across India are impatient. And like he says, would you agree that the mood of anti-incumbency is something which has swept across the country? I mean, one of the reasons why Karnataka was lost and continues to be this way is because of anti-incumbency. Now, even the BJP struggled to return to power in Gujarat, which is one of your biggest bastions. Let me just finish. From here on, sir, whether it's Madhya Pradesh, whether it's Rajasthan, whether it's Chhattisgarh, you are the incumbent. You are not the challenger.
No, that is entirely true, Supriya. And of course, the fact of the matter is that voters in India demand performance and they're impatient for performance. And of course, I think when it comes to the way in which we worked in the last 4 years, and I think the results that you're seeing on the ground, people are seeing performance at a rate and at a scale that is unprecedented, and which is why we are really the party of choice right now. But of course, every day we have to work hard to win their trust and to overcome, their hesitation in giving votes to a party which they feel could in some ways not deliver performance. So we have to absolutely prove it to them every moment, every day that we are doing the job that they've asked us to do. So definitely, I obviously respect what voters feel about their lives and what they want us to achieve. That is definitely something that we have to absolutely recognize and deliver against. But I think when it comes time to go into the voting booth and press the button, people recognize that the only party that they can trust and have confidence in terms of delivery is the BJP. And I think if there's one thing that this election tells us is that the BJP has delivered. The vote clearly demonstrates that, the confidence that the people have given us clearly demonstrate that, and it's true in election after election. We just had mayoral elections in Jharkhand, in Hazaribagh, in my own hometown, and we won them with thumping majorities, Supriya, and that is because we have delivered on the ground.
Mr. Sinha, obviously, while this performance will provide a certain momentum to the party for the crucial test in the Hindi heartland, but is there any correlation? I mean, let's just jog our memories way back to 2013. Congress won Karnataka, then lost 3 states and was routed in 2014. Isn't that a parallel to also draw from?
No, there are no such parallels, Supriya, because you can't compare apples and oranges. We have a formidable winning combination now. We have the performance that we've delivered, which is palpably obvious to people. We have the inspiring leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, and then we have a party organization and an election machine that is led by the Honorable Party President in a way and in a manner that has never been seen before in India or anywhere else in the world for that matter. It is this very potent winning combination that we've put together that enables us to win election after election. The Congress had nothing like this in 2013 or ever before in their history. And so you really can't compare the past with what we have right now. And in fact, as I was saying earlier, this is what's driving in their desperation and in their panic the opposition to get together in these very unnatural contortions and alliances. I mean, look, see what an absurd thing this is. The Congress is offering the chief ministership to a party that is about half their size. And they're doing it because they're incredibly desperate about their survival. We've reduced them to that panicky survival mode because of the kind of formidable winning combination that we've been able to put together. That's very good news for India. It's very good news for the markets and for the economy, because we are going to be able to, when we come up and win the 2019 elections, be able to provide stable governance, high quality governance that can really take India forward.
So you're really cueing me to my next question. My next question was going to be about the government being in an election mode up until 2019 is the big fear. The government has otherwise not given into populism. Will it be forced to do so? I mean, I will just quote a quick example. Fuel price again appears to be a political decision. Doubts are being raised on the intent to deregulate. Will we see more such populist moves over the next 9 months? Because I think that's the question markets, investors, industry would want you to answer.
Supriya, yeah, nothing is black or white. Obviously, we have to be astute in the way in which we manage the economy when it comes to handling some of these tricky issues. At the same time, we have to undertake a number of measures that will really propel the economy forward as well. And so it's obviously the sequencing and the prioritization of these moves that we will be thinking about. But we have taken very important, bold, courageous decisions before elections. You remember demonetization happened just before the UP elections, for instance. So obviously we will do what's right for India, and that really is the way we think about policy making, which is India first. What is it that's going to take the economy forward? What is it that's going to be the right thing to do for the people of India?
Mr. Jayant Sinha, even if you talk about India first, the micro picture, of course, is looking better. The high-frequency indicators are good. But it's the macro that's causing some amount of concern. Crude is hitting the $80 a barrel mark. There is concern on the FISC. The rupee today fell to the lowest in 16 months against the dollar. Year to date, I think the INR is down 6%. Current account is a big cause of concern now. Is the macro picture beginning to bother you at all?
No, the macro picture is of great concern, as it should be, given the fact that many of these exogenous factors like oil prices, obviously interest rates, obviously capital flows, all of which are exogenous to the Indian economy, are moving out of their macro sweet spot that they were in for us over the last 4 years. That has obviously been a tremendous advantage to us. And that has enabled us to tackle a lot of structural things in the Indian economy. You remember everybody used to tell us that fix the roof while the sun is shining. Well, the sun was shining. We were in a macroeconomic sweet spot, and we fixed a number of these very important structural issues that had been hindering the Indian economy. Now, obviously, we are moving out of the sweet spot as some of these parameters flip over. But thankfully, we've done the hard work, and now we are well prepared to handle all these contingencies. And I think with the economy being in much better shape at a structural level, economic growth will in fact accelerate rather than fall short.
All right, talking about accelerating economic growth, the big other concern continues to be the banking sector. Now, while the government has taken a slew of steps to clean up, the fallout of these banking scams in both the public and the private sector is what has given the confidence a knock, has dented confidence. Now, what can the government do to restrict the collateral damage at this stage? Because as you go into election mode, you would want the economy to do well, you would want growth to pick up, and I'm presuming for all of that to happen, you would want the collateral damage to be restricted to bare minimum.
We've undertaken all the necessary steps, Supriya. I mean, obviously, we've recapitalized the banks. The whole insolvency and bankruptcy initiatives are underway. The National Company Law Tribunal is working hard to address these bankruptcy situations. We are taking corrective action with many of the banks. Management is being changed. Necessary investigative actions are being undertaken. So whatever is required to really bring the banks up to a healthy state is in fact being done right now. And in fact, if you look at credit for retail and you look at credit for small and medium businesses, those are actually growing at very healthy rates also right now. Yes, it's going to take us some time to be able to work through the NPA situation, even though all the necessary corrective measures are in place. And of course, that's what happens when we have one of these balance sheet events. It takes several years to be able to work through that. That's been the record around the world. But all those necessary actions have been undertaken. And of course, the economy is now starting to pick up in a very, very substantial way. As you indicated, the high frequency indicators are looking very positive. And many sectors are really growing at extraordinary rates. Aviation, of course, is one of those. But I think that is what is setting the stage for a very good phase of robust growth going forward.
Mr. Sinha, two quick last questions, one economic and one political. A test case for the government's reform resolve, of course, is the Air India divestment that you are absolutely in the thick of things of. Now, given the response from potential bidders, are you confident that this will go through in the term of this government? And I think a follow-up to that is, are you willing to relook at the terms of the divestment to attract even more bidders to incite more interest?
This is a confidential process that's being handled by the transaction advisor, Supriya. I really can't talk about it.
I wasn't expecting you to give me a headline there, but I think 2019, as one stares at 2019 general elections, and there will be this anti-Modi bloc that the opposition is trying to put together. There are various regional satraps, and it's quite clear that when it's Rahul Gandhi versus Narendra Modi, we know who wins hands down. But is 2019 then going to be with Mr. Modi contesting with different regional satraps? A Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal, a Naveen Patnaik in Orissa, a Akhilesh Mayawati combined in UP. Is that how you envisage it, and does that make the contest tougher?
This is such a negative, nihilistic narrative that is being put forward, which is that let's all get together in some ragtag coalition, in some khichdi coalition so that we can defeat the BJP government, the NDA government. I don't think the people of India wants to embrace such a nihilistic narrative. They are going to go with our positive narrative. They're going to go with a government that they trust, that they have confidence in. They're going to go with a leader that they believe in. And I think that's what the 2019 elections are going to demonstrate very, very clearly, Supriya. So, as I said earlier, it's wonderful that in a democracy, our opposition is doing its level best to be able to put up a viable, sort of opposition to us. Right. If they don't do that, they don't survive. So that's entirely what we should expect of them. But as I said, we welcome this opportunity to be able to put our story, our narrative, our leadership in front of the people of India and show them that they will be far better off picking, our government, our leadership than what it is that the opposition is offering. It's a very nihilistic, very negative narrative that is just flat out wrong for India.
All right. What is good for India is robust governance. What is also good for India is a viable opposition, and hope we'll see both of those in the coming days. But thank you very much, Mr. Sinha, for sparing time out and speaking to us on this very big evening. Your party back as the single largest party in Karnataka, short of that magical mark of 113. Let's see how political events unfold from here on. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.